Janina Mauli Ola kai hoa ke kia ka ena lau o apple e lima o makahiki no vau makahalu ke nuia e au e lijoana vo e kanaka kinaya mahalo.
I ko'u haku mua ana I kēia mele, ua haku wau me ke ano wiki ano naue, he mele naue, no leila, hele au I ke kula mai ka I, ma ka punana leo honolulu a ka nae, I ko'u lawe ana I kēia mele, I ko mako poe, Ohana ni ihau, ua loli ku'u mele I mele ni ihau. A wali, hele au I ke kula. It's like, awe, yeah, kupili kio mele, akana e. Ua nani, a ua lohe wau I ke kahi himeni ai, himeni ni ihau me ke ea like. No leila, ike wau, oe paha ko lako manao, Elohe mai. No wau, ale pela wau I haku ai kia mele aka. Ale pili kia.
Ka weka vena o ke au I galani pa. Ka weka vena o ke au I galani he veke I ka pōpili puka he elele o ka poni I kina. Ka o ke kahe awana au I ka ala a pāpala I ana I luna o ke kukulu o ka lani la. O ka uia e huli alo nei ka ulu e ai ua o e. Ho mai la ko mala mai ka honua nei ka Mauli Ola ua o Hawaiʻi ke oli no nei mai ka piina ka velo na kala ka hiko ia I ka ike mano ka ike ko oli umai o kikilo mai o ka uno ia o ka pula ma ka ipu o ka ike ai ua o Oia no, aloha kako. My name is Kuulei. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Maybe thumbs up. Maika iloa. My name is Kuulei Perreira-Keawekane. I come from Hawaiʻi Island, from the Ahupua'a of Waiakea in the moku of Hilo, in the ʻili ʻāina o Panaewa. I cannot actually see myself, but can you see me? Is my head all the way down here or up here or to the side, or is it centered, or I can't even see myself? It's okay, I see.
You're good.
Okay, Maikai, very good, because if you was looking at my ears this whole time, I don't know how that would be. So anyway, my name is Kuulei, and I am a Hawaiʻi, so he kanaka walenoa. I'm just a Hawaiʻi person, just a Hawaiian person. People call... When Hawaiian people do Hawaiian things, people now call that a cultural practitioner. So some people might call me that, but I'm just Hawaiian. So I'm here to open the space and help us to understand what opening protocol is other than just a performative formality. And so we're talking a little bit about opening protocol before we get into the Hooikaika conference. So I think generally people are familiar with someone from the Hooikaika partnership saying, aloha, that's the general protocol. Someone would be like, aloha everyone, welcome to the Hooikaika conference. We're gonna get started with an opening chant from one of this, and then you show the bio of the person, tell all their ABCs, EFGs after their name, and do all of that whole thing. But we don't realize that then that becomes the opening. The opening wasn't the chant. The opening wasn't the protocol. The opening was the explanation of what was to come. And so this is a really old way to do things, just to start with just do it. We're just gonna do it, and then we'll tell you after, we'll explain after. So the opening protocol process has looked like maybe someone would open and then maybe a chant, maybe a kind of prayer, and then maybe a land acknowledgement, and then we'll begin the conference. I want to introduce this new way of opening safe space that involves music. So maybe give me a thumbs up if you folks seen me play that Punana Leo o Maui song. Okay, some thumbs up that I see. If you came in earlier, you would have seen a bunch of kids and Hele au ike kula mai kai. Whole bunch of littles. A bunch of littles and their family, their parents, their teachers, their ʻāina, different land places. So in this opening protocol, we started with that. You saw that. That was the first thing that you were able to see with your eyes, e ike maka. And that is the intention of this gathering today. Those specific children, those specific families, but also the community that they represent. Also the community outside of them, outside of these Hawaii spaces that include children who are not Hawaiian. All of these children, all of these people and places, they hold the true intention of why we're meeting today. So yes, for the speakers, yes, for the presentations, but all in all, for the beginning of our time together today, which is those children and their families. And so we started with intentionally selected music and imagery. We had a little welcoming activity in the chat. And then we opened with this poo. And I think people were like, is my audio broken? I'm hearing something and I can only hear, ooh, is it the tsunami alert? What's happening? But no, that's the poo. And so the poo keia, this is a poo. This thing is traditionally used and also contemporarily used to call a particular group of people together. And so this was the next step of the opening process, where we began to focus and began to prepare ourselves personally, ourselves in our bodies, ourselves in our minds for the opening of the conference. And so I just want to pause here to just say that these are regular Hawaii things, just regular in general. This is just how it goes. And I feel grateful to be uplifting that in this space. So after the pool, we did a little pule, and I think I saw a couple of you chanting with me. That was Uau Hawaii. And you can see, I'm going to just take it on. Wait, let me see if I can take, yeah. And then so there was the Hawaiian chant, but it wasn't performative now. It's not somebody just doing a chant that you don't know what they're saying. The translation of the chant is also posted so that if you don't know it, you can engage in the intentions of the chant that are provided in English. So again, we're just going over a different type of opening protocol. I know a lot of you folks also have to do with planning, planning workshops, planning conferences. And so if you folks want to screenshot this so you can model this opening protocol process as well, you can totally do that. Okay, so Uau Hawaii helped us to set the intentions of safety and openness. It talks about a new day, a new dawn, not just the literal sunrise, not just the literal daylight, but when we're looking at trauma and abuse and neglect and the things that we're trying to create safe space to address, the Ao Hawaii, or the dawning of a new day, talks about a new time. So today we're talking a lot about how we're going to bring Hawaii people, Hawaiian and non-Hawaiian, out of this space of disparity. It's going to be a new day and a new time when we're operating in good spaces with protective factors in place. And so that was the intention of the space of the Uau Hawaii. I introduced myself, and now we're here explaining the protocol process. Does anyone have any questions so far? Maybe thumbs up if you did I lose you? Are you here? People are like, what's happening? This is a new thing. Nobody from the Hooikaika conference is anyone even here yet? We're about to begin with the official conference piece in a bit, but this is part of that piece. And so I just really mahalo this motion to open in this way. Okay. So the next part of the opening protocol involves talking about the Hawaiian words that are used in the title and how those Hawaiian words are weaved into the intention of the whole conference. And so the word Hooikaika is in the word Annual Hooikaika Conference 2022. That word is in there. Can everyone unmute yourself and say Hooikaika?
Hooikaika.
Hooikaika.
Anyone left over was like, I don't want to do it. I'm going to be the last one. Anyone? Hooikaika. Hooikaika, it means to strengthen or to make strong. And so the word for working out is hooikaika kino. When we run and we lift weights and we do really, really good things to make our bodies strong. But the hooikaika also refers to a spiritual strengthening, an emotional strengthening, a psychological strengthening, and a physical strength. That part is important too. But the Hooikaika conference and the Hooikaika partnership is meant to strengthen the people, the providers, to strengthen the children, to strengthen the families. That's what the partnership is about, and that's what the conference is about. That's the intention. The deep intention of today is to strengthen all of these systems of being that will impact great change in the larger community. And so we all said together Hooikaika. This next piece is the theme of the Hooikaika conference, which is E holo mua ika ike kupuna. And that means moving forward with the knowledge of our ancestors. That term also means to move forward with the knowledge of our ancestors. So E holo mua ike kupuna is actually a command. That line or that phrase is urging us to move forward with the knowledge of our ancestors. And we come from a lot of different ancestors. Some people come from Japanese ancestors, Welsh, German, Irish, Hawaiʻi, Tongan, Samoan, Chuukese, Pohnpeian. Lots of us have lots of different ancestors, right? But at the core of each ancestry is love for land, is love for food because we gotta eat, right? And is love for each other. And so this is a universal idea of moving forward with the knowledge of our ancestors. I want to provide an opportunity for us to engage. And I just really want to quickly explain why this. Why so extra? Why this extra Hawaiʻi thing in the beginning of this conference? Some people put on their makeup and their eyelashes and their eyeliner and what do males put on? And their aloha shirts, or males put on eyelashes too sometimes. Well, anyway, we're all getting ready for the day, right? But when we're getting ready, sometimes we put on this extra whole face, like a whole other face. A face that is professional, a face that doesn't involve their families. They don't involve anything other than their personal face. And that's good and that's safe for a lot of people. But some people don't like that face and they feel like they have to put on an outfit to fit the part of their job or their role. Part of this opening protocol makes it safe for those people to be that exact way, but also makes people who don't feel comfortable or who feel more comfortable engaging as mothers or as partners or as child care, like child care providers who are really into it, not just for their job, but because it's in their heart. To love these children. It makes it safe for us to engage like that, engage with our person, not just our personal role face, you know. So that's what the whole purpose of this opening protocol is. So I would like to provide this opportunity for us to engage. Anyone ever heard of the word iku mau mau? I hear some nodding. How do you hear nodding? I see some nodding. Maikai, I hear some people saying, yes, I've heard this. Anyone unmute yourself and tell me when you've heard this word or this chant.
At every good protest.
Oh, every good protest. Okay, yes. Yes, very good. Wonderful. Maybe one more. We'll have one more.
Mauna Kea.
Mauna Kea. Okay, yes. That's what this image is actually here behind these beautiful words. This is the Mauna Kea. I took this photo. Yes, I'm a professional iPhone photographer. Anyway, Iku Mau Mau is a chant that's used in gatherings. It's used when a lot of people come together at once. But I want to tell you about the old meaning and the old application of Iku Mau Mau. Iku Mau Mau was used when hauling big trees from the uplands. So heavy logs needed to be brought down from up the forest down to down through the wetlands and through the bushes down into the ocean side so that it could be carved for canoe, for va'a. And so we didn't have, caterpillars or like bacon, those big bobcat things to cut down the trees and haul them all the way we had to bring it down ourselves. And Iku Mau Mau was the chant we did to make sure that everybody was on the same page when we're trying to physically lift up this big tree trunk. And so Iku Mau Mau was used to haul large logs from the uplands to the lowlands. Okay, anybody have any questions about that? Okay, now we have Hawaiian Airlines, and we don't need to be carving ourselves whole entire canoes, right? We don't need to be doing all that. Usually we're not really we're in offices and in homes. We're not really in the forest lugging all these logs down. But what we are doing is carrying a heavy weight. And so in Iku Mau Mau, these are the words here. These are the words. So in Iku Mau Mau, we use this in the office and we use this in the home when we have to carry a heavy weight. It's not a big log from Iuka. It's disparity. It's abuse. It's addiction. It's or substance misuse. It's all of the risk factors that we talk about. Those are that's the heavy log. And when we're looking at one log, we can't carry that all by ourselves. And I think because we're in these little Zoom boxes or we're in our own homes, it seems like we got to carry this on our own. But what this chant reminds us of is that we're not carrying this on our own. Okay? So everyone who knows this chant, I want you to unmute yourself. We're not going to do it like we were in the forest because my dad is sleeping and I'll wake him up if we do it, that loud. But please, if you know it, or if you want to give it a try, your part is the black. The black squares with the white words on the inside, that's the part that you say. Okay? So we're going to give this a try. If you saw me at the REI training, you learned this. No excuses. Please participate. Thank you. Okay, I hear some people unmuted. Okay, so I'm going to say Iku Mau Mau and you're going to say Ikua. Here we go. Iku Mau Mau.
Ikua.
Iku Mau Mau. Iku Hulu Hulu. Ikala na vau.
Ikua.
Kula na vau.
Ikua.
Everybody now. Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Amau kae ulu e huki e kulia. Oh, yeah, no. Thank you. You may mute yourselves because I can hear your popcorn popping in the back. Very good. Maikai, mahalo. And so that is Iku Mau Mau. What this does, okay, this is a tree that my daughter drew. I'm just kidding. I don't have a daughter. I drew this myself. But anyway, if you didn't know, it was a tree, okay? And you see all these X's around here. These are the people. This is us in our own little Zoom boxes. And we think we're on our own, all separated. But the word Iku Mau Mau, or that phrase, tells us to stand with others. Like this. You see how we're standing with other people? You maybe like nod your head or thumbs up if you can see the...
Right on.
Okay, mahalo. So we went from being all in our own different spots to standing with the people in our groups. We have to find our function, right? And we cannot all carry the log if we're all lifting up right at that area, because we're not going to go no place. So then it tells us ikuwa. And ikuwa means to stand apart. So iku mau mau means to stand with others in couples or in groups of multiple people. And ikuwa means spread yourselves out along the tree to be able to evenly distribute the weight. Okay, so the point of this conference is for us to identify or recall and remember that this is us. This is what we're doing. And we're these little different colored groups all in our own organizations, but we have to know our function. And so this is helping us to kind of be inspired as we continue to do the good work in our mau, in our small groups of people. This conference is meant, Siri, I didn't ask you anything today. Anyway, sorry, my Apple Watch was like, hey, Kiana. Anyway. The purpose of this whole conference is so that we can carry this heavy weight together. We're carrying this heavy weight for the children, with the children, for the families, with the families, for each other, and with each other. And so mahalo for joining me in Iku Mau Mau. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. So if you're willing to try, because you heard it once, let's do this together. Please unmute yourselves, and then we'll be off. Iku mau mau.
Ikua.
Iku mau mau. Iku hulu hulu. Ikala na vau.
Ikua.
Kula na vau.
Ikua.
Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Amau kai hulu. Kulia. Julia, oye no, mahalo kako for joining me in this process. I really appreciate you, and I hope that you also learn to open space like this too, because now we're fine not to feel scared to engage with the actual programming. Ideally, we feel safe that we can just show up as ourselves and not have to put on any kind of extra face. We can just be who we are in this space of the Hooikaika conference. So I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to invite Bobby Joe to go ahead and give us an open. Mahalo kako.
Mahalo Kuulei.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Mahalo ku'ule for the
Mahalo,
wonderful
Tia.
and inspiring opening protocol and sharing your mana'o with us. That's always so valuable to us. So we really appreciate you taking the time to prepare and share. Well, I would like to go ahead and officially start the conference with opening it up with our MCs for today. We have two MCs that are going to be taking over from here on. And the first MC I would like to introduce is Paul Tonneson, who is also one of the core members of the Hooikaika Partnership, and also Michelle Navarro, who will be joining him. Both of them will be co-MCing today's event and sharing their information and mana'o with you as well, and letting you know what the day will bring. So I'm going to turn it over to both of you.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Michelle Navarro Ishiki, licensed clinical social worker and certified substance abuse counselor. I'm in private practice as well as the mental health officer for our Ha'olipiha nonprofit organization. So just mahalo Hooikaika for this wonderful gathering today, and turn it over to Paul.
I am Paul Tonneson with Friends of the Children's Justice Center, and amazed at how this conference has grown. It's phenomenal from when we had 35 people attending years back. And Kuulei, thank you. Thank you for sharing your culture and protocols. Very important to understand these. And I did take a screenshot, and that's how I'm going to open up my annual gala in 2 weeks. So I appreciate that. I will, definitely. And I run the Friends of the Children's Justice Center, and my job is to begin a healing process for children of abuse and neglect, and honored to be here. Very important. And Michelle, my little sidekick, it's usually Venus and me over the years. So I want to thank Michelle for helping me culturally navigate the children I serve. I think may be a good way to describe that. She's been very instrumental in meeting the mental health services for these children, and appreciate everyone attending. Mahalo. And I'll just go in. Michelle and I are going to sort of share a little script, and seeing she went first, which I knew she would because she's always trying to dominate me. But she's also, I got to be kind, she's my senior companion for the day. So just some reminders about the conference and courtesy, Zoom etiquette. Everyone realizes it is being recorded. So unless you're speaking, if you could please use the mute button. Love to see your smiling faces. So if you can turn your cameras on, and then feel free to use the reaction buttons, the raise hands or jump into the chat. And then if you want to know how to choose to change speaker or gallery view, you just go up into your view button up top and it will give you the little categories to do so. And to change your name, you have to click on the little blue box up in your corner, and it will say rename up in the top right hand corner. And I'm going to turn it over to Michelle.
So one of the things that the partnership is asking is for everyone to not join a session early. When you do, all the sessions are timed and there's a break in between. And if you join a session early, you may interrupt speakers. So mahalo in advance for your understanding for this portion. We'd like to recognize and acknowledge the core partners and our conference planning committee and moderators. And if we can please ask them to raise your hand on the Zoom controls. Just really want to bring everyone to the forefront. There's so many people in the background, but these folks in the background are truly the ones who bring all of this to life. Awesome. The core partners are also going to be shared in the chat box. We'd like to mahalo for the visionary leadership that has enabled the partnership to thrive since 2008. Adele Luisa Baggio Larena, CEO of Maui Family Support Services. Jenny Bissell, RN Supervisor, Family Health Services Section, Maui District Health Office, Hawaii Department of Health. Tina Kiabu Kroll, MSW, Quality Assurance Specialist, Maui Family Guidance Center of the Hawaii Department of Health. Connie Meekoff, Maui Family Peace Center Program Supervisor, Parents and Children Together. Bobby Joe Moniz Tadeo, PhD. That's my other friend, sorry. Clinical Director and Early Childhood Specialist at Imua Family Services. I'm going to repeat that again. My apologies. Kalamai Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe Moniz Tadeo, PhD, Clinical Director and Early Childhood Specialist at Imua Family Services. Shauna Orta, Director of Maui County Programs, Child and Family Services. Annie Reinecke, Maui Child Welfare Services Section Administrator at CWS. Of course, Paul Tonneson, Executive Director of the Friends of the Children's Justice Center of Maui. Keala Kaopuiki Santos, Community Engagement Project Manager at Kamehameha Schools. Kelly Sims, Senior Director with the Strategic Consulting Unity KC Family Programs.
We'd also like to acknowledge the Conference Planning Committee. Mahalo to all the conference planners who have tended to all the meticulous details to create this day. Co-chair Bobby Joe Moniz Tadeo. And then we have our other co-chair, Adele Bagiola Lorena. Then we also have Tina Kayabu Kroll. And we also have Connie Meekoff with Maui Family Peace Center Program Supervisor. I'm not reading all the other titles because Michelle read them, so I'm not going to be repetitious. Also, Danielle Bergen, Mental Health America of Hawaii, Community Coordinator. David Littman, Taryn James Young Foundation, Director of Programs. Heidi Allencastle, Hooikaika Partnership Navigator. And Deb Rose, she's our Hooikaika Partnership Coordinator.
We'd also like to give a huge mahalo to our moderators. They're the staff at Imua Family Services for your support in the conference logistics and your availability to assist with the tech and Zoom functions during our sessions. Huge mahalo to each of you. Ashley Smash Minobe Nakua, Kelsey Kagoshima, Brittany Kakayoren, Vai Kawai, Casey Gamarat, Vanessa Ganur, Jaden Rose Almeida, and Bobby Joe Moniz Tadeo. Now, I'd also like to mahalo and introduce our sponsors who, without your generosity and your huge hearts and everything that you offer and bring to the table for the partnership, you know, everyone in the community knows these folks, and especially who this person, for some odd and strange reason, is very near and dear to my heart. Paul Tonneson, again, the Executive Director of the Friends of the Children's Justice Center of Maui. Don Mahi, Program Officer representing the Consuelo Foundation. And now we'd like to feature a video by our primary Ikaika level sponsor from Kamehameha Schools, followed by our Kamehameha Schools Community Engagement Project Manager, Keala Kaopuiki Santos.
What do I want to be when I grow up? When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. When I grow up, I want to be like my dad. When I grow up, I want to be a rock star. I want to learn more about hula and stuff like that.
I want to sit on the hokulea one day.
When I grow up, I want to be an architect, but I also want to grow my own food. I really want to go to college, like one of the good colleges.
I want to travel the world. I want to learn more about my genealogy.
I want to continue to learn about our culture as Hawaiians.
I want to save the world. But I want to study sustainability so I can come back home.
I want to see a thriving Lahui.
I want to see my kids graduate.
I want to use science as a way to malama ʻāina.
I want to see more of our families struggling less on a day-to-day basis. I want to think about, like, what's the biggest contribution I can make?
I want to leave a legacy as someone that inspired others to do their best. There's so much more to be gained out of looking at how an entire people rising can be strong and powerful for not only Hawaii, but for the world.
I want our native Hawaiian people to feel proud.
I want to be the best grandma that I can be.
I want our keiki to continue Pauahi's legacy.
My gratitude runs deep. It's in my heart. I want to go back and do it all over again.
Hanai ke keiki ola kalahui. Hanai means to raise, rear, feed, nourish, sustain. It also means to foster or adopt. Lahui means nation, race, tribe, people, nationality. Hanai ke keiki ola kalahui. Nurture the keiki and the lahui thrives. Kamehameha Schools does not just comprise of 3 campuses, but also consists of our preschools, financial aid, KS Digital, community engagement, ʻāina partnerships, and much more. While we celebrate the work that we do with Hawaiian Keiki on a daily basis, we acknowledge our limitations. We are not able to reach every keiki, but through important partnerships such as Hooikaika and many, many others, we are able to reach more. We want to express our gratitude to the Hooikaika core team for their tireless work in the planning and delivery of this conference, and to each of you for the work you do for our keiki, for our lahui, for our kaiaulu every day. Collectively, we can once again hanai, nurture, raise, rear, feed, nourish, sustain, foster, adopt more keiki and their families. And collectively, we can ensure that our lahui and community will thrive. Mahalo for being here today and for allowing us to take part. Aloha.
Mahalo nui loa Kamehameha schools. You know, every time I watch that video, I get so teary-eyed. I mean, that really is all encompassing of the work that we all do. So mahalo Kamehameha schools.
And
right now we'd like to
go ahead,
Paul.
Nope, you got it.
Okay, wait, let me write my tear.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. Right now, we'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Kimo Alameda. Dr. Alameda is a graduate of St. Joseph High School and earned his doctorate in psychological, educational, and cultural studies from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. He has over 25 years of executive experience in state and county government and has consulted with FQHCs and hospitals statewide to improve their cultural competency and patient experience. Dr. Alameda is currently the Vice President of Hawaii Island Community Health Center, serving over 40,000 patients. Dr. Alameda is also a licensed psychologist, a popular lecturer at Hawaii Community College, coaches basketball at Waiakea High School, and has his own youth athletic program. He and his wife, Star, are the proud parents of 7 children.
Oh my God. Amen. You guys are crazy.
Woohoo! 7 is a good number.
Volleyball plus 1.
If everybody can make sure that they're mute now as we bring Dr. Alameda. Mahalo, Doctor.
Mahalo. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Michelle. Can you guys hear me? All right. You see me?
Yes.
Okay. You ready? Okay. Those are our signals. You hear me? You see me? You ready? Okay. Hey, you know, wow. I'm glad I got in early and listened to just the introductions and everything. It's just unbelievable. This is off to a great start. Thank you so much. You know, as I got about 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, talking a little bit about just my story. And, you know, the conference is just, it hits home so much. I mean, this is what we do. This is our work. And, you know, just because I'm from the Big Island, the only thing separating us right now is the ocean. So we're all Hawaii. And so thank you again for inviting. But yeah, so, you know, when I think about the protective factors, I think of things that kind of like, I just look at looking at everybody's faces right here and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the fact that you all are here, I mean, you all get on story. I mean, you all can, you know your struggles and what got you through. And, you know, you've made it. So, you know, you don't got to look too far in terms of kind of your own story on all the protective factors that got you here, you know, where you are. And we all get different stories and we all have a story to share. So, you know, my story is not as different as yours. I think when you pull out the themes, you know, first, you know, you know, protective factors, when you look at a society that is kind of like male dominant, you know, that could be one protective factor. That is Christian dominant, that can be a protective factor. So somebody who's male, Christian, speaks English, standard English, that could be a protective factor. So a lot of our families and kids, they come into the world already, you know, kind of like either pluses or minuses. So if you look at our dominant culture, you know, if somebody who is white, male, Christian, heterosexual, get money, speak English, you know, that's kind of a, like, lucky you. But you know, and the less we have of those, you know, the more we got to figure out how to adjust, you know, how to get over these barriers. but those are just kind of on the side. And then we're brought into a home, you know, with nurturing parents. So this is like we're more protective factors, right? So nurturing parents, kind of we feel this sense of attachment, and then our parents, they get support. Somehow they feel, you know, that they can give us their love and attention in a genuine way, and then they have social connections, so you know they're not overwhelmed. They don't gotta feel like, you know, they're yelling or showing us violence in our home. And so when I think about my parents, you know, I was fortunate in that way too. So, you know, so I came into the world with some protective factors. I think me being male in a male dominant society was a little protective factor. You know, my sisters are darker than me. I'm part Hawaiian, part Portuguese. So I look at their life and I see their struggles, and how come I got, you know, just like less struggles. And it's interesting because, you know, parents compare this, they say, oh, cute, this one, you know, and then because of my eyes, I got light eyes, so that, you know, all the aunties, oh, cute, this one. But then I grew up and I think, what about my sister guys, right? So who just so happen never have light eyes, or their skin is darker, you know, so everybody but then, you know, everybody get their challenges. So I think when I start to work with families and I work with kids, I start to look at like everybody get their strengths, but everybody get their challenges. So like what part of this kid's life or this family's life was like the hurdle, you know? So for me, it was my pidgin speaking. You know, I felt like that was my hurdle. I was like, ooh, that's where I felt like I went down a couple notches on my self-esteem and my self-worth, right? So because I was a heavy-duty pidgin speaker, I mean, that's how I was raised. And, you know, I went college, I learned how to pronounce my R's, you know, so, and I mean, I remember, you know, and then St. Joseph School is a parochial school, so it's super strict, super standard English. I mean, you know, you speak pidgin, you get kind of looked down upon. And I remember I was playing dodgeball, and I was, you know, I caught the ball, hey, I get 3 lives. And, you know, Sister Mary, she grabbed my ear, she goes, hey, I told you not 3 lives, it's 3 lives, you know, pronounce your R's. So I was like, oh, sorry, yeah, Sister Mary, you know, the guy. But, so I guess another protective factor is I always took like the energy from the outside and I tried to turn them into a positive, either turn them to a joke or something. And I think I got that from my dad. So as I look back at my life and I think about, gee, what is my protective factors? First, I have a dad that is super positive. My dad is like no such thing, no can. You know, he's a plumber. He works super hard. And he's Hawaiian, so he's Portuguese last name, but you look at him and he's dark Hawaiian, you know, and he never liked the negative stereotypes of Hawaiians, you know, of being lazy. And then my mom she looked Portuguese, she get Hawaiian too, but she looked more Portuguese, and she never liked the stereotype of Portuguese being stupid. So they were very conscious of these stereotypes growing up, and so my dad was super compassionate, super aloha. My mom was very strong, strong-willed. And so I guess the first lesson I think we can learn is that our parents, our caregivers, they give us protective factors, right? They give us some of these traits, and if we can recognize it, and then if we can recognize it in the kids that we work with and the families, then we can say, hey, you got that from your mother, right? Something positive. Hey, you got that from your father. Yeah, your father's on hard work. Oh, he's just like your father. Hey, your mother, she's super resilient. She's not gonna take nothing from nobody, you know. And so you got that from your mother, you know. So that's the first thing, what we got from our parents and our grandparents, you know, and just build that up, you know. And that was the first lesson, because that's what my parents did to me. I remember going to school, the teacher said, oh, you know, this boy, he's so energetic, he's so hyper. And then my mother was like, you're not hyper when he's sleeping. You know, she always said, or one coach would say, oh, this boy, he get plenty of family problems, right? And then the assistant coach go, nah, this boy, he just worry about his family. You know, so there's people in our lives that, you know, a counselor, oh, this boy, he's shy. And my father said, nah, my son, just takes time to know him. You know, so like, if we can be that other side, you know, that reframe, if you will, because I had a lot of reframers in my life, and I thank them today. And so that parental, you know, oversight that you know, so parents plays a huge part, and that's why I think this idea of empowering parents, getting parents who feel comfortable and confident, and you know, I mean, you don't gotta be perfect parents. I think you just gotta be good parents. you know, because what is a perfect parent? I don't know. I still trying. You know, I have 7 children. Yeah, so that's rough, right? So people, how come you have 7 kids? I said, because the first 2 was practice. Because hey, I don't know, you know, I went doctor, I went to school in this, but it's still yet, you know, as a parent, we still resort to kind of like how we was parented, right? So I got to catch myself. My wife and I, you know, so we try to do this together, but yeah, you know, and it's not easy. So then I go off to school, right, with this heavy pidgin accent, and then I got to figure out like, how come I being like look differently? You know, how come people, how am I not getting accepted? You know, and then I realized, yeah, so the world can be mean, you know, and as you think about your own upbringing, your own world, right, your own characteristics, female, whether you person of color or, you know, LGBT, like you go into the world and you think, wow, then you start to realize, hey, the world not that nurturing, you know, and so for me, going into school and getting my PhD, you know, psychology, I was taught, hey, normal person, normal environment, sick person. You know, that's paradigm of psychologists and psychiatrists, right? Hey, you a sick person, I gotta, you know, help you. And then I got into the feminist movement. I understood like, wow, and then the multicultural movement and the civil rights movement. And then I realized, no, you know, when I started working with my social worker friends, I started thinking, wait a second, this is a normal person. This is a normal family coping in a sick system, like kind of like reverse them. Right, not sick person, normal system. Healthy person, normally coping in one sick system, one system that is fragmented, one system that get racism and sexism and judgment, right? And that's what we're trying to fix in our great country. So the second lesson I learned is, you know, you can turn one negative into a positive. And having a positive mindset is super, super important. That helped me. And it continues to help me. And it reminds me of a quote by Ella Wilcox. It goes like this: there are 2 kinds of people on the earth today, just 2 kinds of people, no more I say. And it's not the good or the bad, for it's well understood that the good is half bad and the bad is half good. Anyway, she said, no, the 2 kinds of people on the earth, I mean, are the people who lift and the people who lean. So, you know, are you a leaner? So, you know, I get plenty of reasons for lean and for grumble and for, you know, be negative. You know, but there's also plenty of reasons for be happy and for be grateful, and you know, plenty of reasons for show appreciation. So I try not to dabble too much in the negative in my life because I think it's just negative energy. And I go back to my dad again, being super positive. So, you know, and then get plenty of examples of positivity. I worked at the Office of Aging. I had on kupuna. She only had 3 strands of hair. Okay. And I was like, oh, auntie, what you gonna do with your hair? She said, easy. I just put them into one braid. How easy. Okay, so, and then 2 weeks later, you only get 2 strands of hair, one strand left. Auntie, now you only get 2 strands of hair. She goes, no worry, I just make middle comb. You know, okay. Then finally, she only get 1 strand of hair. I said, auntie, now you only get 1 strand. She goes, no worry, ponytail. I go make ponytail. So after that, she never had hair. I said, auntie, how come you no more hair? So, oh, thank goodness, I don't worry about my hair anymore. You know, so. I mean, of course, it's a funny story. It's a fable, but you know, it's true. The kupuna that I work with, and I used to work with, I still touch base with them today. Super positive. They're in their 80s and their 90s, and sometimes, and it's not like they're following all the health, you know, good habits either. It's just that they're super positive, which I think has a place in longevity. They're super optimistic. You know, and so that's the takeaway too from my own parents, and that is a protective factor. If I ask you, hey, the stairs go up or down? Oh, down. Or you know, the cup half full, half empty. Empty. You know, that's a negative mindset. But hey, the stairs go up, right? The cup is half full. Now you're jumping on the positive train, and I like that. And so I take that what my dad gave to me, and I share it with kids too. You know, my dad said, "Boy, don't be ashamed of being proud of yourself." You know, I know Hawaiian style, you gotta be humble and that, but you know, like he said, look at the stars. Hey, God made the stars and they just shine, right? Nighttime, they don't say, oh, I shame for shine tonight, so I'm not gonna shine. Okay, so no, the stars just shine because they was meant to shine. Like, be your authentic self. And it's okay. Look, the flowers, they just bloom, right? They don't say, oh, I shame for bloom today because I don't like make the grass look bad. No, the flowers just bloom. Right? The stars just shine. And that's what, if you're meant to do that, do it, right? Be your authentic self. So shine like the stars, bloom like the flowers. It's okay. And so when I learned that, I was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna just be who I am then. Just like our introduction. Hey, no need to make our face today. I like that. We can just be who we are. So that's the first thing I learned. And then from my mom, and these are protective facts. My mom was a super good listener. It reminds me of a quote, and she got this down. Like when we think about active listening, and I think about me as a helper, I think this just covers it. It goes like this: when I ask you to listen to me and you start giving advice, you have not done what I asked. When I ask you to listen to me and you begin telling me why I shouldn't feel that way, you're trampling on my feelings. When I ask you to listen to me and you feel like you gotta solve my problem, you have failed me. Listen, all I ask is that you listen. Don't say, oh, do advice is cheap. I can do for myself. I'm not helpless. But when I do feel what I feel, no matter how crazy it may sound, then I can quit trying to convince you and move forward to solve the problem. So please, just hear me. That's a quote written by an anonymous person, probably a child to their parents. And I never forgot it. I committed it to memory because I think when somebody tells me, hey, Kimo, what is active listening? I said, yeah, that's active listening. Okay, just hearing people out. And my mom was really, really, really good at that. And I think that can be a protective factor too. Because when children feel empowered, when they feel resilient, when they feel like they get those obstacles in front of themselves, just like all of you, right? What got you there? Well, somehow in your history, somebody gave you resilience. Somebody gave you encouragement. Somebody said you can. And then to the point where then you started to believe them, and then you told yourself you can. Because the biggest critic is not everybody outside of us. The biggest critic is everybody inside of us. It's our thoughts. It's the things we tell ourselves. But you found a way to tell yourself the thoughts that can help you to be successful. And that's why you're here today. So how can we give our children and the parents these thoughts that, hey, you get them already? I mean, to get some things you can fix. Maybe no need to yell all the time. Try to bring your tone a little bit down, or maybe if you give them some tricks so that they can have some tools in their toolbox. Their parenting toolbox. And I think that can help, because that certainly helped me. So then I go off to college, and I this is when our kids, right? We just send them off to college. We pray. We hope everything will be okay. Okay. So my parents send me off to college, right? I go to Nebraska. So I take my wife. We get married. We go up. She look Japanese. I look mixed. I don't know. They kind of figure me out. I look Holly a little bit, but then I talk funny. They probably So one person thought I was from Jersey, and then another person thought I was from Brazil. Like that. So I was like, okay, nobody could guess I was from Hawaii, but. When I was in a supermarket, I was talking pidgin, and somebody came up and they said, hey, I visited Hawaii. And, and then, you sound like you're from Hawaii. I was visiting Hawaii, and is that you? Is that what you speak? Is that what they call pidgin? I was like, oh, yeah, it's pidgin. And she's like, say something in pidgin. I was like, yeah, no, just joking. But then I was just joking. I said, no, I'm from Hawaii. And then so then I realized, wow, what was my greatest, I thought it was my greatest weakness, ended up becoming my greatest strength. So that's the thing too with kids. We don't know, what we thought is a weakness. Hey, now, with Sister Mary, by the way, she just retired from St. Joseph School. A while back, she asked me to do their commencement. And I was thinking, wow, you're gonna ask the person that, couldn't pronounce his R's. Now you let me do your commencement. I said, I gotta think about it, how to get, but then I did it, right? And so now that's my biggest strength, I think, is the fact I can talk pidgin if I gotta, or maybe speak some standard if I gotta. And because they say, Mandela said, you talk to somebody in a language they understand, they'll get it. But if you talk to somebody in their language, then instead of it going to their head, it goes to their heart. And so language matters. And so once I realized that, I was cool with myself. Then I go back to my dad. I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to shine like that star. Then I'm going to bloom like that flower over there, and it's okay. But but we go, you know, so then I go to college, I'm thinking, okay, I'm pretty confident, you know, and then I realized to get all kind of different, like with local people, I didn't realize we get all kind of different nonverbal cues, you know. And, first thing I say that one teacher go, what is that you do with your eyebrow? I was like, huh? Nobody asked me that in Hilo. What is that? I guess she goes, yeah, what does that mean? You always, so I said, oh, I guess it means like hello. So, but then it can also be on like one point there, like where? Over there. You know, so, okay. So I was like, well, I was laughing at my wife. She's like, oh yeah, we got all kind of nonverbal cues, yeah. Yeah, so again, and then some of the things we take for granted here in Hawaii, you know, it's like, that's like super awesome. Like we can pick up on people's feelings by just looking at them. No gotta say nothing. Like if I do this, I mean, you know, I never say nothing. That's like I just don't communicate, 20 words right there. So, I mean, it's all. But so we have that skill set. So then I started to realize, I was like, wow, you know what? Growing up in Hawaii and the culture that we live in is so awesome. I mean, we get a certain way of communicating. We get like multiple cultures. You know, we get the host culture, the Native Hawaiian culture, but then we get the Japanese culture. We get multiple cultures that we can pull from. You know, I actually think we are the model for the world. I mean, and if you look at our name, so the name Maui was given to your island, you know, the demigod Maui. Hawaii, you know, Hawaii Island, and then became the Hawaii as a state. But just think about Hawaii, right? The word ha. Ha is the awesome breath of life in Hawaiian, right? Ha, the ha. Vai is the fresh waters of life. ʻI is in reference to the spirit. So Hawaii, you know, that's one super powerful name given to our state. No other state, you know, has that, and ha is what connects all of us. The aloha, the ha, right? And shucks, and the vai is the energy, you know, the water. So there's 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom is H2O. So in water, you get energy. And so the vai is the energy that not, you know, we're already connected by the ha, and then the vai connects us even more. And then without the spirit. So as we continue to do our work, you know, we got to make sure that we get that spirit that's connecting all of us. Because people ask me, Kimo, what is the greatest issue that you think our community faces? And I personally, I think it's a decline in the aloha spirit. You know, it's a decline in the aloha spirit. I mean, you look on the TV, you see the extremes, the guys on the right, the guys on the left, they're demonizing each other and like no can have one civil conversation. That's not Hawaii. That's not Hawaii. You know, so as we continue in our work, let us remind ourselves that what makes Hawaii so awesome is that we may have differences in opinion, differences in policy, but we should never have differences of the heart. Because if we lose a ha in Hawaii, then we've lost Hawaii. And, you know, we're trying to get our kids to come back to this beautiful place, and we like our kids grow up and live here forever. But we gotta keep the ha, that aloha. And we can do that by just modeling it ourselves and just trying to give love to everybody and, you know, acts of kindness and you know, less judgment and more aloha. So, you know, so those are some of my thoughts. Looking forward to the rest of the conference. I'll be doing a little talk on fentanyl in one of the breakouts, because that's a big issue. I just so happened they picked me as the island-wide task force leader on this issue, and so it's hurting our communities. And then at the end, I'll share with you some thoughts as we close out the conference on how to make sure that we keep the ha, that we keep the aloha, and we keep ourselves as centered as possible so that we can do this good work. So thank you, everybody, again. I appreciate you all being on. I love you, folks, and we'll continue to see you throughout the conference. Mahalo.